Welcome to Conversations. I'm Muqtedar, your host, and today I'm going to talk about basically the war between Israel and Iran. As you all are aware, yesterday in the morning, or rather today in the morning, Friday morning, Israelis attacked Iran, multiple targets, more than 100 targets in 5 waves of attacks, and they caused devastating damage to Israel. They targeted several of its military installations. They hit Natanz, the nuclear enrichment facility. They hit factories where the ballistic missiles elements are also produced and manufactured. So there were targets which also involved killing the top 4 or 5 generals of the Iranian army. So it was a devastating attack. They also killed 6 scientists who basically run the nuclear program. So not only did the Israelis surprise Iran by attacking today, most people were thinking, including me, that they would wait for the meeting with Witkoff on Sunday in Oman, and maybe if Iran does not agree to stop its nuclear enrichment, then Israel would attack. That was what I was thinking, but clearly the Israelis were intending to surprise Iran, and Donald Trump was in on it. It is quite apparent now, as we know, that this entire discussion was deliberate. And so Iran probably was not prepared, ready, and anyway, they lost most of their senior command officers, which is devastating because it completely upsets a military to lose its generals even before the war begins. But anyway, Iran has shown several things which are worrying if you are an Iranian supporter. Number one, that it does not have any strong, shall we say, air defense systems. The Israeli jets were just flying at will, hitting targets at will. It also was apparent that Iran's domestic security system is not very good. The Israelis have a very strong um, intelligence network inside, and Mossad apparently has a lot of assets. Their drone attacks is from inside Iran itself against Iran's missile launching systems and against their air defense systems itself was quite spectacular, really. And the fact that Iran was surprised by this clearly shows that when it comes to defense strategy and intelligence, Israel has a huge advantage over Iran. But Iran has finally started responding. There were 2 waves of saturation attacks from Iran, lots of hundreds of drones sent, followed by missiles. Some missiles have gone through. There have been huge explosions in Tel Aviv. Iranians have hit the headquarters of the Israeli Defense Forces. They have hit headquarters of Mossad. They have hit headquarters or semi-headquarters of another Israeli military division. And they have also hurt some civilians. I think over 60 people have been injured. One person died. One person is in critical condition. On the Iranian side, about 76 people died and over 300 were injured. And of course, I mean, it's that they lost several generals and they lost some of their scientists. And it is possible that there must have been some genuine damage done to their scientific and nuclear facilities. There is no doubt that after today's attacks, the Iranian nuclear program must have suffered some damage, and so if they had an intention to acquire nuclear weapons, that must have been slowed down by now. Now the question is, did Israel do enough damage to deter Iran from ever trying to go nuclear, or this is just the beginning of an endless war where Iran will never give in and will continue to fight endlessly? And Israel's capacity to last the war depends really on US support, even though Marco Rubio announced at the beginning itself that this was a unilateral action by Israel, decision made only by Israel. The US had no role to play. When it came to the defense of Israel, when Iranian missiles started landing and hitting, it was very clear that the US was involved. US was using all its THAAD missiles and other defense Patriot style missiles. They were not only using U.S. technology, but according to several reports here in U.S., American military personnel were there actually manning that. Yes, the U.S. did not scramble jets to protect Israel as they did in April and October 2024, but at that time, even Jordan and Britain were helping. But this time, it seems that only U.S. personnel inside Israel were helping Israel defend itself from the Iranian onslaught. We will see what happens going forward. Netanyahu has announced that he will continue to attack Iran for as long as it takes. He has several goals, and the three goals that are very clear is: number one, he wants to completely eliminate Iran's nuclear program, which means hitting its facilities, hitting its scientists, etc. The second thing that it wants to do is also to diminish or destroy Iran's ballistic missile capabilities, which means launches, factories, stockpiles, etc. And the third thing that Israel wants to do is basically also try and weaken the regime to such an extent that they're hoping that an uprising in Iran will overturn this particular regime, and so a regime change will happen in Iran as a result of a military defeat to Israel. I'm not very sure about that third aspect of it, but we will see what happens. But those are the strategic goals, and so Israel is not saying that we will continue, we'll stop after a week or two, or we have achieved our target. They said we will continue attacking Iran until they achieve these goals. Iran's obvious goal is to obviously to foil Israel's strategic goals, but also to create a deterrence. Iran would want to cause as much mayhem and punishment to Israel that Israel would also be open to suggestions from ceasefire. What is interesting is that within 50, 60 hours of India's engagement with Pakistan, Washington was actively engaging both sides to de-escalate and come to a ceasefire. But at the moment, we don't see Donald Trump coming forward and demanding that there be a ceasefire or de-escalation. All Donald Trump has done is basically told Iran to give up its nuclear program, or unfortunately, they are going to suffer more brutal attacks. So basically, no calls for ceasefire. There were some calls for de-escalation from India, for example. Narendra Modi, essentially, in his phone call with Netanyahu, who called him to brief him, at least from the tweet from Modi, it seems he was calling for a de-escalation. So we'll see what happens, but I think it's quite possible that Israel will continue to attack Iran up to the point that Iran is able to punish Israel to some extent. Only then I think it might hesitate to attack. But if it keeps having victories like it did today, then there is no end. You can see Israel is still killing people in Gaza. There seems to be no end to the war in Gaza. And so Israel can continue doing this as long as America provides money and weapons and protection, diplomatic as well as military protection. Israel can continue to attack Iran. So those are the observations that I wanted to make, and then I will be happy to take your questions, your comments, and have an ongoing discussion. Some of you must have already watched the video that I uploaded about a couple of hours ago. I'm doing this live session essentially to be able to engage with you directly. But I kept the video there for those who are not able to join the live sessions. So anyway, we have Rohit Narang joining us. Good evening, Rohit. Thank you for joining us. Nav, good morning to you. Shekhar Patel. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Are you thrilled? So I don't know why people like these people come to my channel. These are not intellectually interested in any issues. These are trolls. They probably get 2 rupees per troll. Let me just eliminate this person. Yeah. So Rohit, do you see Israel occupying Iran? If that happens, then what will be the implications for Afghanistan and Pakistan? On the other hand, do you see Iran using nuke option on Israel or its allies? Oh, interesting questions, Rohit. First of all, Iran does not have nuclear weapons. So the question of it using nuclear option does not arise. The best that Iran has achieved was it has a stockpile of 406 kilos of uranium that is enriched to 60%. They need 97% enriched uranium to make a bomb. If they can convert all of this 406 kilos of uranium from 60 to 97, which is not that easily done, but if they are able to do, then they can make 10 bombs. But that will take God knows how long. So Iran does not have nuclear weapons at the moment to use. I can guarantee you, if they had a dozen nukes, they would not be under attack. There's no doubt about that. Will they occupy Iran? No. Look, as soon as Israel started occupying Gaza, they started having casualties. They just lost 5 soldiers, and Hamas hit them. And if they try, if they can hit and run, that's what the Israelis can do well. If they send troops down in Iran, my God, they will all die. I can assure you that very clearly. If you are invading a country, you need to have 3 times bigger army. So if your enemy has 100,000 troops and you want to attack them and conquer them, you need minimum 300,000. And you can see in the case of Russia and Ukraine has a much smaller force, but it is defending. So it's able to do a much better job. Russia, because it's attacking, it needs a bigger force. So Israel with a population of 8 million attacking and occupying a country with 80 million in this era is not possible. But remember, a handful of British officers came to India and then they occupied and ruled the country for more than 100 years. Muhammad Rashid, sir, very detailed information. I'm glad you find it useful. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Waqas वालेकुम सलाम. Sir, please पाकिस्तान लोग आपके लिए करते हैं, प्लीज नेगेटिव ना हुआ करें पाकिस्तान. अच्छा, मैं पाकिस्तान के लिए आई ट्राई नॉट टू बी नेगेटिव टू पीपल, बट समटाइम्स बाज गवर्नमेंट्स की पॉलिसी से मुझे नाराजगी हो. लाइक ईरान फॉर एग्जांपल, ईरान की जो फॉरेन पॉलिसी है वो डिलिबरेटली इट इज डिजाइन टू बी हॉस्टाइल टुवर्ड्स द वेस्ट सिंस 1979. Salman Rushdie, they imposed sanctions against fatwa against Salman Rushdie. They try to, push their Islamic revolution on other countries. And as a result of that, they had a 10-year war with Iraq, and then there's all these hostilities and sanctions from America. If they had remained like another country without any of these sanctions on them in the last 40 years, Iran would have been a richer and more developed country than many European countries. They did it to themselves. And of course, that is when I get really angry, when politicians use ideology to do stupid things. That's why I also get angry with the Indian government, the current Modi government. India has a great opportunity to become a major power and remain so for at least 200-300 years. But they are pushing ideological agendas, both at home and abroad, which is going to prevent that from happening. So that's when I get angry with the governments. Nick Sodi, good afternoon to you, Nick Sodi. Thanks for joining. Waqas, thank you very much. Cricket Costco, good show always. I'm glad you liked it. Talking about cricket, oh my God, South Africa is on the verge of winning the World Test Championship. I was actually planning to go and watch the final of the Test Championship in UK, but when India lost and India didn't qualify, I was hoping to watch Virat Kohli play. I was hoping to see him score 100, but they made this guy Gautam Gambhir the coach. The man lost one series already 0-3. He's lost another one 3-1. He's probably going to lose this one too. And after he has fully destroyed the Indian team with stupid selections, forced both Virat and Rohit to retire. And once all that is fully destroyed, then he's going to be replaced. And that's exactly what I mean when I don't like ideological appointments. This guy is coach because he was a former BJP MP. And BJP now controls Indian cricket with Amit Shah's son at the top of it. So there is a political agenda also in sports, which does more harm than good. Uh, so anyway, I don't see any more questions or comments, so I will take your leave. At around 12 o'clock, I will also do a live show in Hindi on my other channel, which is Khanversations 2025. Ismail Muhammad has joined us. Welcome from Atlanta. So you have a question, sir. Should Iran have gone for the negotiations even if this attack happened? Yes, yes, they should have. Because, see, one of the goals of Netanyahu was to prevent that particular negotiations. He did not want the US to negotiate with Iran at all. And he was very upset when Trump started negotiating. He wanted Trump to attack Iran right away. So Iran, by canceling the meeting on Sunday in Oman, has basically given Netanyahu a victory in that sense. And it is quite possible that some conditions could have been discussed, and Trump doesn't want another war, I think. And so it is possible that Trump could have called for a ceasefire if Iran had made some movement. But Iran, I guess, would rather fight a war than stop enriching uranium. So this war is because Iran wants to continue to enrich uranium. Uh, and it says it doesn't want to make a bomb. Then what's the point? It's not a big deal, you know. And and the fact that in the last 30 years that it has had this program, it has not achieved the capacity to build a bomb itself shows that the Iranians are far behind. I mean, their technology is slow, 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 like their negotiations. So I think it's a mistake that Iran made by simply preventing. It is also possible that they don't know what to do because the main negotiator was also killed. So one of the persons who was killed in the Israeli attack was a main nuclear negotiator. Besides the foreign minister, the foreign minister is alive. So I think it was a mistake for the Iranians to cancel the negotiations. Uh, it is always useful for any country to, especially in a moment of crisis, to keep the dialogue going with regards to the US. थैंक यू अपूर्वा वकाल डॉक्टर कमर चीमा के पास कब आए गए आप I did a show with Khamar just 2-3 days ago, and yeah, I did it 3-4 days ago. You should take a look at it. I also did one with Rohit Sharma in India. I might do one with him tomorrow also. Live, Khamar doesn't do live shows. Ask Khamar to do live shows, then it'll be interesting. Khamar does a lot of shows. He does 4 or 5 shows a day. They're trying to, for some of them, it is a profession, right? I'm doing these live shows because there's a crisis going on. In fact, from tomorrow, I start working indirectly for the US State Department. And so I will probably do it in alternate days because by the time I finish the Hindi version, it's way past 1:30. So we'll see, inshallah. I will continue. I'll try to keep going and we'll see. Thank you very much, Waqas. And do please watch. Share this video with your socio-political network. And then just Google this word, Khanversations 2025, Khanversations 2025. It is this channel. I'll be on this channel in another 40 minutes at 12 o'clock US time, which will be 9:30 India time, 9 o'clock Pakistan, and 10 o'clock Bangladesh time. So you can come and watch me there, and that will be in Hindi and Urdu. I will speak for 10-15 minutes, and then I'll be happy to take questions and answers. Rohit, thanks for joining again. And Ismail, also thank you very much. I'm especially thanking these two because they're also members of Khanversations. and they are good supporters and supporters in many ways, and coming and engaging itself is a major support. So take a look at the video also that I posted on both channels about this. Okay, uh, Altamash Nadeem Safi. What names have I dropped, yeah? And why am I begging? Why do you think I'm begging money? You think I need money? And the membership is not going to make me rich, but it is important for me to have more members. You will not understand why that is. Uh, because if you become a member, you will understand. But if you are not going to become a member, you don't deserve. Please, Apur, definitely send it to your parents. Let them watch. In fact, people who watch Hindi and Urdu, I have been doing BBC Hindi and Urdu for the last 20 years. So I sometimes run into IS officers and professors uh, who have heard me 10 years ago and 15 years ago. So that's very nice. Anyway, guys, I'm planning to leave now. Thank you very much for joining the channel and watching it. And please, if you are interested, you can come back to my other channel in another 40 minutes, and we will have a conversation in Hindi and Urdu. So anyway, this war is very critical because it is possible that if Iran is not able to hit Israel, it might hit the Gulf countries to destabilize the oil market. Already, oil prices have gone up by 9%. It was 12% in the morning. The oil has dropped. I think it's about $75 now per barrel. And so, if oil supplies are disrupted, 20% of the oil goes through Hormuz and even more through the Red Sea, etc. And if that is disrupted, then many countries could suffer from inflation and also have a lot of economic crisis. So anyway, take care, everybody. Bye.